Good morning, class 8. Let's continue the same chapter, that is chapter number 3, ecosystem. So far in this chapter, we learn about ecological pyramid, we learn about food chain, food web, and today in this video, we'll be learning about interdependence between organisms. As we learned before also, that is in an ecosystem, the plants and animals, they interact with their environment, they interact with each other. So here particularly we'll discuss about the interaction between the two living organisms. Okay, and then after that we'll discuss about the abiotic component. Okay, we have already learned that the ecosystem consists of biotic component and abiotic component. So after completing the symbiosis, parasitism, then again after that predation, okay, then we'll start, then the biotic component becomes over, then after that comes abiotic component, where we need to learn about the abiotic component, that is non-living part of the environment, that is air, water, temperature, light. Okay, let us first start the interrelationship between the living organism. Symbiosis. Okay, let us try to define the symbiosis. Symbiosis, the relationship between the two organisms in which both of them are mutually benefited. Okay, the best example of symbiosis is rhizobium. Okay, rhizobium is a type of bacteria which are usually present or found in the root nodules of leguminous plant. Leguminous plant means the plant belonging to pea family. Okay, pea, then again pulses. Okay, these are all leguminous plant. They have root nodules in their roots. Okay, swollen part. Okay, on their roots. Must be given in the book also. Let me draw and explain to you. Suppose this is the root. Okay, in their root nodules are present. In these root nodules, the rhizobium bacteria are usually found. Now these rhizobium bacteria, now see how they are symbiotically related with each other. Okay, plants and bacteria, how they are symbiotically related with each other. Let me explain to you. Now what happens is that plants need nitrogen for their growth. Okay, and these plants, the plant mainly, they cannot take nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. Okay, they need to absorb this nitrogen from the soil or with the help of bacteria like rhizobium. Okay, the rhizobium which is present in the root nodules, they fixes the atmospheric nitrogen and converts them into the chemical substances like nitrites and nitrates, and make the nitrogen available to the plant. And in return, rhizobium gets the energy from them. Okay, yeah, food and energy from them. So in this way, in mutual benefit, both the living organism, that is plants and the bacteria, lives together. So such relationship is called symbiosis. Okay, then after that comes the next relationship, that is parasitism. Parasitism, in which the living organism lives in the body of other living organism and draws all the nutrition from their body. Okay, without giving anything. Okay, such type of individuals are usually called as parasites. Okay, parasites like for example tapeworm, which are usually found in the human intestine or even in the animal of other animals intestine. Okay, this tapeworm, what it does is that it absorbs all the digested food from our intestine and then makes us anemic, weak, like that it is mentioned here. Okay, so parasitism, in which the living organism lives in the body of other living organism and obtain the nutrition from their body. Okay, so the living organism which obtain the nutrition from other living organism, they are usually called parasites, and the other organism which provide nutrition to these parasites, they are usually called as host. Okay, then after that comes next relationship, that is predation. Now in predation, it is actually the relationship between two organisms in which one organism hunts down the other organism, okay, for their food. Like the relationship between tiger and deer. Okay, in this case, tiger is a predator and deer is the prey. Okay, the animals which hunts, they are usually called as predator, and the animals which get hunted, okay, they are usually called prey. Example, tiger and deer. So this way we have completed vital component. Now let us come to understand a vital component, that is non-living part of the ecosystem. Okay, a vital component means not biotic. Bios has come, bios means life. Okay, not living. So it includes air, light, water, temperature, and then soil. Okay, so first we will start with air. Air, as we all know, is a mixture of gases which mainly consist of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, okay, and then water vapor. Now, how the living organisms depend on them, that we are going to discuss here. The green plants particularly obtain carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, from the air. Okay, they utilize them, they use it as a raw material to prepare their food, okay, during the process of photosynthesis. And then about the animals and plants, all of them respire. For respiration, oxygen is always required, and that oxygen also comes from the air. Then the moving air, which are usually called as the wind, okay, they usually affect the rate of transpiration. Transpiration means the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the surface of the leaf is what we call the transpiration. So it is affected by the moving wind, and moving wind also helps in bringing about the pollination. Okay, then again it also helps in the dispersal of fruits and seeds. Okay, so this is about the air. Then the next part is light. Okay, light is considered to be the ultimate source of energy. Whichever the energy we see, okay, around us, they are all because of the sunlight. Okay, only 1% of sunlight is trapped by the plants, and which is used by all the living organisms, okay, to do their activities, physical work, like that. Okay, now this light is mainly used by plants in order to prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so plants depend on the light, okay, in order to prepare their food. Then same way, the flowering plants, the flowering and fruiting, okay, flowering plants, for their flowering and fruiting cycles, okay, and then again the reproductive cycles of birds and poultry mainly depends on the length of the day. Okay, so most of the fruits and flowers, they usually flower during the summer season, okay, during which the length of the day are usually longer, okay, like that. So during the daytime also what happens, this presence of light, okay, makes all the living organisms very active, particularly the animals. So this is about the air and light. Now in the next video we'll discuss about the water, temperature and soil. In this video this much, student. Thank you.